Welcome to Tech Throwback. Today we are throwing it all the way back to the year 2002. There was a guy named Nick Woodman and he was out surfing with his friends, and there was one problem he needed to solve. And that was, how do we get cool pictures and videos of us out surfing so we can go pro, get sponsored, and make a living going surfing? So he decided he was gonna do something about that. And what he did about that, we all know and love today as the company GoPro. Here we've got a few examples all the way back from the Hero 2. This is one of the early HD versions of the Hero. It's not even waterproof, look at this. You had to have a case around this GoPro just so you could take it out in the water with you. All the way up to some of the latest ones today with built-in software stabilization, 5K resolution video. They're compact. They do pretty much everything you want, except recording for a long time without crashing. But honestly, it's a pretty indispensable camera. No matter what you think about GoPros, you're probably using some form of action camera today. Well, this isn't where it started. It's definitely where it ended up. And I gotta say, I've owned almost every generation of GoPro, and they've all done very well for me, even if every once in a while they crash and lose some footage. But long before anyone ever imagined we'd have a camera like this, something that can record massive resolutions for a long time on a very small battery and not even need a case around it. It's waterproof right out of the box. Well, there was another camera that Nick had to build first, and that is the one I have for you today. One where you won't even believe the media it shoots on. In fact, when I tell you I have the original GoPro Hero, you'd probably think that it was just the Hero before the HD, because there was a version of this that was just called the GoPro Hero, and it didn't say anything else on it, and it was 480p, and it was roughly the same size as this. It needed the waterproof case, and it was a digital action camera. It worked. I had one of those. 1080p wasn't even really coming of age yet, and it worked great. But here is the original GoPro. This one here records onto, well, it doesn't really record at all, does it? It takes pictures on 35mm film. There's no video capability here because obviously you would run out of pictures in about 1 second at any common frame rate, but this is the original GoPro that Nick built to help these surfers capture their moment, get in some magazines, get published, go find some sponsors, and go pro. And honestly, if we're starting at this, well, he really did go change the world when they've sold probably hundreds of millions of these, and I doubt they ever sold that many of these, but we're gonna get into this today. Take a look at the original Hero, go through its features, and open this box for the first time. That's right, it's brand new. First, I have to say, for an early consumer product, this is very well designed. I love the clear box. I love the artwork. Incredibly well done if this was honestly their first try at packaging and selling a consumer product. Obviously, if you bought a new GoPro, you kind of know the packaging has never really changed too much from this. It's honestly way better. Now they come in those nice big plastic cases where you pop the top off and then the camera is kind of displayed there like it's a statue, and you keep tearing it apart until you get the whole thing unboxed. Honestly, it's kind of a complicated unboxing that takes a lot of time if you need the camera in a hurry, but this was a clear precursor to that. The camera is displayed well, the art looks great. Everything about it, very well done. I do want to mention one thing before we rip this box open. On the bottom of this, there's a label from whatever store sold it. It says camera, and it says it was $14.50. Crazy cheap. I think these cost a lot more than that. Maybe this one was being cleared out, or it was a little bit late in the run of these very first generation GoPros. I'm not sure exactly where it fell, but like I said, the packaging feels really, really nice. They did a great job. I doubt this was in the first handful of units, but maybe right down the road, they figured out what a hit they had on their hands, and they redesigned this to be really, really nice. $14.50. Nick started a lot of this company selling $20 trinkets out of his van, probably right beside the beach. So what a great value for money. Here on the box it says, it is the GoPro Hero waterproof reusable wrist camera. And then they've got a couple sample shots in here, some pictures people took with it. It flips up for photos, so it must have like a pivoting wrist strap where you can pop it up and then pop it back down, like the new GoPro wrist strap, because it does the same thing. Waterproof to 15 foot, preloaded with 14 exposures and 400 ISO film, and reusable. So we're not going to show you what the pictures look like from it, but after I open it, I might shoot this roll of film, even though it's probably, well, if it's from 2002, it's 21 years old, that film's probably shot. I really doubt those pictures develop very well. So here on the back it says, finally, now you can surf, snorkel, ski, hike, or bike wearing a camera that makes it easy to get photos of the action while enjoying the action. That's right, you don't have to take yourself out of it anymore. And you can ditch your disposable, it's reusable. GoProCamera.com, I guess that's before they had GoPro.com. Hero package includes reusable 35mm camera, preloaded with 400 ISO film, polycarbonate water housing, the ultimate camera strap, that was trademarked, ski glove adapter lash, and then it's just got a bunch of pictures of action sports with little logos there. And you can keep your gloves on because they put huge buttons on it, which they still do today, which is a great design. A lot of extreme sports, you're wearing gear or gloves for safety or for the cold, whatever it is, and you need something that you can operate with gloves on, and they really thought through that with this camera. So, it's time. Oop, the packaging broke immediately. It is old. Immediately snapped as soon as I started opening it up here. So let's rip into this thing. Here is GP Hero. This would have looked better if it said GoPro on it, wouldn't it? So we're gonna open up the case to get started here, take the camera out. I think it looks like you might have to tear everything apart. It's got a hinge, but apparently you do need to open up this wrist strap. Okay, this Velcro piece here is what allows you to flip it up. I don't think this would stay up. This is not designed as well as today's GoPros are. It's definitely cool, and they worked pretty hard, you can tell, to make this happen, but it's nothing like today's GoPro. Still, very cool to have. So then you have to pull the Velcro on this strap. Again, you have to unvelcro the wrist strap, unvelcro this, then pull this, and then you can remove the camera, which feels a little bit slimy. This is one of the cheapest cameras I've ever felt in my life. And I don't want to open it because it does show that it's preloaded with film. It's got a sticker on it right here. It says, "Stop, you must rewind film before opening camera." If we do open it, it will expose the film, but let's, it's on S. Let's advance the film here. Is that not advance? This is the first time I've ever had film not advance. Apparently they did actually try to waterproof the camera itself a little bit. I'm gonna open it up now. The film's gone. Well, I don't know what happened here, but I did buy this on eBay, so maybe at some point somebody did take this apart and pull the film out of it. I don't know why they would do that because I doubt it would break down, but there is no rubber seal really either. I don't see like an O-ring seal, and it looks like it would have been built for an O-ring seal in this channel right around here. And they definitely mention a rubber seal that must be kept clean right there. So I don't see a seal and I don't see any film, obviously. But that's the camera. It's got a fixed 28mm focus-free lens. This is one of those infinite focus lenses. It's got a viewfinder. Viewfinder is definitely usable. Kind of has a weird effect. I mean, it's plastic. What do you expect from a plastic viewfinder? It does have a shot or exposure counter on the top. I don't know if it's exposures taken or exposures remaining. And then of course you've got your film rewind here. Flip that open, crank your canister, crank all the film back into the canister, send it off to be developed. And there's also a little button here that I think allows it to be rewound. It says made in China as well. This must weigh, I guess, 1/3 of what your iPhone weighs. It's basically weightless. No, it doesn't feel like quality, but also it's kind of one of those trade-offs you have to make so that you can have a product that's easy to strap onto a wrist and go shoot some pictures out in the ocean. Now there is a rubber seal on the waterproof case here. That could be what they were talking about when they mentioned a waterproof case. I see they took a standard film winder and then they figured out, you know, how many teeth per inch it would need, and they've made a gear right here, and this lets you remotely wind the camera. So if the camera's back in its waterproof case, which also very conveniently has a piece of silicone in there to keep it from rattling, or if you've ever had microphone problems on a newer-ish GoPro, they don't really have this problem anymore, but the camera would rattle inside the case, kind of like that, and cause terrible problems with your audio. It basically made it unusable. This doesn't have that problem because it doesn't record any audio, but they were thinking ahead putting that silicone strip in the case to stop rattles and stop it from moving around. Double locking latches. I mean, this is all very well done. And then let's try this out here. Yeah, it sure works. We could advance the film outside of the camera and that's a waterproof, it's got like a domed button to push the button on the camera. Well, there's not much to this other than what we've just seen here. We gotta try it on. I wish we could test it out, but we actually don't even have film. And I assume this is that ski glove loop, so you could hook it onto your ski glove. And how does that hook on? That's the real question here. Okay, so this must be the surfer ring, and that's the ski glove friendly lash. Action clasps allow you to lock the Hero camera flat against your wrist during the activity. Ah, now it makes sense. So you could get rid of this. This was the ski glove lash, and you could put this on the top. So if we rip this out of here, unfold this thing, we're gonna put it on, tighten it up. It's got like a neoprene thing to keep your wrist from getting chafed with all this super heavy Velcro here. And then what? Then I guess you put this on here, inside the Velcro. Just take it up, flip it up, take some pictures. You're out on the water surfing, going like this. That's a lot of work, I gotta say. All right, we flip the camera back down because we're done. And now, look at that. That's how the O-ring works. We figured it out. I can take pictures like this would be ideal if I could shoot forward like that, because you can hold your arm like that. But yep, I guess you could technically go out and use this thing to get some action shots. What a cool idea. Well, the very first GoPro, definitely no video, only 35mm film. And apparently it sold really cheap, a lot cheaper than, well, it's like $500 for a 12, and this was $14.50 whenever somebody bought this example. That's pretty wild. Well, I got it switched back over to the ski glove lash. I don't know why you would ever use this. This is kind of a poor design. It's clearly just, why don't we put a bunch of Velcro on a strap and it will solve all of our problems? And this, the O-ring version, is actually a great design that makes a lot of sense for this camera. And I don't know why you'd ever switch away from this. At least I got both of them. Definitely cool to see where the company GoPro came from, Nick Woodman's dream, and my last thoughts on his dream are, if this was really selling for like $14.50, what an accessible camera that probably could go out there and change lives, really make a difference in some of these surfers' lives that were working hard to go get sponsorships and things like that so they could go live and keep perfecting their art. And maybe this really did go out there and change a lot of lives for the better. It seems like if you can already go drop $500 on a camera, or 3 of them, so you can get all the angles you need while you're out surfing, maybe you didn't even need a sponsor to begin with. Or you could probably just call GoPro. They sponsor something like 160 athletes, so they might just add you to their roster. That is all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching Tech Throwback, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.